Musical modes are probably something you've seen or heard of, but you don't really know how to use. And we often think of it just as, like, for example, if I do a C major scale, let's instead start from D, we have Dorian. That's cool, but it's not a very practical way about thinking about modes. So today I'm going to kind of show you how to think of modes and how you would actually use them. So obviously, when I take this Dorian scale, start from D, I have a different scale, but why is it different? And the reason why is, let's go start with C. Let's just copy and paste it. Actually, sorry, I should not have done that. I should have just raised it. And now instead we have this G Mixolydian scale. Now, if you're familiar with the circle of fifths, if I raise a note up a fifth, I need to add a sharp. The main reason is because each of these notes have a corresponding perfect fifth, except for one of them, this B and this to F, which is a tritone, so you need to raise that. But what if you don't add that sharp? Not adding that sharp is like adding a flat to it, which is basically making it darker. For example, that would be equivalent. I took this C major scale and added a flat to it. So let's go to my key signatures. Let's just add a flat to it. And now I can actually transpose this all the way to this G Mixolydian, and you can see it's the same scale. Now I could do this again. Now when I raise it up another fifth, and I basically don't add that sharp, I get one more flat. So basically that'd be equivalent of this is two flats. Again, I could just transpose, make this fit into the key signature, raise it up an octave, and we have the same scale. And we can also go in reverse order. So let's go back to our C major scale. We'll just undo a bit, like all the way to the beginning before we add this stuff. So yeah, if we're C major, what if we go to F, which is down a fifth? But I'm not gonna like move it down a fifth because then you can't see the notes as well. Now we're basically doing reverse order. When we go down a fifth, we need to add a flat. But if we don't add a flat, it's like we're adding a sharp. So you can see as I demonstrate, I do this, and basically what would happen if I transpose it up to this F major scale, you have to raise this into the key signature, and yeah, now we have the same exact scale. And that's kind of a way to think of modes, is that it's like basically the same scale, but it goes brighter and it goes darker. So this is an interesting way to represent it. We'll just do a C, D, E, F, G. Let's just put it down an octave. And now let's just repeat this for each key signature. Okay, now what I've done is basically I've set up a bunch of C scales, but with different key signatures underlaying them all. So we start with 5 flats, which in C would make a C Locrian scale, which is basically your C major scale but starting from B, but then transposing that back so it fits into C, so we can kind of see the easy comparison. So this is Locrian. This is Phrygian. This is Aeolian, or minor. Dorian. Mixolydian, major or Aeolian, Lydian. And if you're curious, if we do add another sharp here, we actually break a lot of stuff, so we'll just move this in. What actually happens is we end up getting a Locrian scale. The reason why is because basically you're adding it up another fifth, but when you do this, the sharp is actually raising the root. And what happens when you raise the root is basically all notes relative to it are basically lower. So you get this darker Locrian scale sound again. Same thing happens here. When you add another flat backwards, it lowers the root, which makes it so you actually get a Lydian scale. So it actually does loop over, which is pretty cool if you think about it. So you might be wondering, why does this all matter? Why does it matter that we have this brightness for these modes? And it actually matters quite a bit because now you have a kind of a sensible reason of using them. For example, I wouldn't want to all of a sudden modulate from C Mixolydian to C Locrian. It would make a lot more sense to maybe make it one step brighter or one step darker. For example, let's just give a really weird example. So let's just say I'm in just normal C major. So let's just listen to that. Now what we're going to do instead is, let's just say I want to make it darker. So let's add Mixolydian, which adds some edge with this extra flat. So now let's just correct all the notes. Let's listen to it. And you see it still has a majorish sound, but something is definitely different about it. For example, we have this G minor chord instead. And the thing also about these different modes is that basically the chords are in different places. In other words, for example, this G, B flats, D is like the 5 minor, but you can still get the 5 major equivalent in Mixolydian. You just have to look a little bit more. For example, in this case, that same exact chord I believe would be C major, so you can still get a major chord inside of it to resolve. So let's just raise this. I mean, in this case it would be F major. I'm sorry. But it's still interesting to see how you can just add a flat and voila, it's darker. And that's I feel like is a more practical way of looking at modes. And hopefully you learned something new. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a like. And hopefully you subscribe. I really appreciate that. Anyways, bye bye.